Hello. 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 हाँ जी नितिन भाई. આઈ એગ્રી. પણ આઈ જસ્ટ મેં કોઈ સંભળાય છે કે નહીં કારણ કે કોઈ કઈ બોલતું નથી એટલે મેં કોઈ મારો. અચ્છા બધાને મ્યુટ રાખ્યો. આ બધા કઈ વચ્ચે ગડબડ થઈ હતી ને લાસ્ટ ટાઈમ. Nitin bhai, whenever you give me a go ahead, we will start.
Hello, Manish.
Yes, Nitin bhai.
Manish, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
yeah, I'm getting you. Okay.
Perfect, perfect.
Okay. Okay. Friends, uh, um, I'm CA Nitin Pathak, uh, past president of Isaka Chapter Ahmedabad. And today, first time we are zooming live. We are zooming in Facebook. We are uh, simultaneously doing it in LinkedIn. And third, where we are doing YouTube also, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And today, Manish Bhai is a very good friend of mine. Is very kind, knowledgeable in the field of cybersecurity and so many things. He has brought me into this field called Isaka. I'd been he had helped me to do CISA. He has helped me to do CISM. He has helped me to do CSSP. And because of this, I'm in the field of these things. And why I'm thankful to you, I'd been not practicing any of this field, but the way I'd been growing because of this is enormous. So I once again request all of you to join ongoing learning program and choose to deliver a talk on different subject that would make you so powerful in your life. Powerful doesn't mean that but for you life becomes so easy and effortless in terms of earning money, in terms of dealing with people. And that is what I want from all of you. And please do join. Every week we are taking different classes. Uh, Before I hand over the mic to Manish, we have a YouTube channel, CA Nitin Pathak, where you will get a latest update on different subjects. One of the subject which I just give a talk on was women's right in case of intestate property, where I have decoded the Hindu Succession Act. When you go through this presentation, you will be able to understand what is the importance of making a will, and if you die intestate, what are the possibilities which is your family member has to go through. And I'm also going to talk on GST very soon. I'm going to present. Then I'm going to talk on budget. There are many past presentation available on the blog. And we as an Isaka chapter has grown from pillar to pillar in 2 years. We have got all the 2 years, second highest in percentage term. Uh, we have increased the membership, and I wish we again break the record. We don't want to be number two this year. This year I want to be number one. With this, I hand over the mic to Manish. Once again, I request anyone who wants to do any courses, We are ready to support you by by becoming a mentor, and by supporting you in providing some material or whatever help you to do this. And with this, Manish, I would like you to introduce yourself, because the way you are powerful, I have very less word to talk about you. With this, hand over the mic to Manish. Manish.
Thank you, Nitin bhai, and thank you as always. You speak very highly of me. I'm not sure if I am what you say I am, but nevertheless, okay, friends, what I have done today is uh, try to bring in uh, a sense of awakening, because many times we observe that in case of information security, majority of the organizations are in one way or the other, or the people around in one way or the other are sort of taking it for granted. I am a small guy. Who is going to hack me? I'm a big guy. I have enough information. I mean, information security in place. I have a firewall in place. I have this, I have that, and so on. So I just wanted to uh, talk about the myths versus reality of what exactly happens when we many times take things for granted. So with that, I'll just start off. Majority of the presentations, I have tried to keep it light, not content heavy, but I have tried to keep it, information heavy. So you may find a lot of cartoons, you may find a lot of graphs and so on, but that is what is the crux of this presentation, is in essence trying to uh, bring about or jostle the people who feel that they are not concerned. Mere saath nahi hoga. That is where the myth versus reality of cybersecurity exists, and it is in between this that the hackers or the so-called people choose to operate. So with that, I'll start. I hope everybody can see my screen. If they cannot, they can. Oh, you want me to switch on my video? Okay, let me see if I can. It's basically bandwidth heavy, so I try not to switch on the video. I'll try and switch on, have say a good hi to all of you, and then maybe switch it off. I am not sure if it is going to work at all. Uh, okay, just hold on. I think Nitin Bhai may have prevented from switching video, because we had a couple of uh, you know incidents last time where some people played around. So unfortunately, I can't start the video for the moment. But till that time, we'll carry on. Okay. So I'll start with a fair use notice and disclaimer. I hope everybody can see my screen. If they cannot, request you to just put in the chat in case you can't see my screen. Uh, fair use notice is something that means that I could be using copyrighted material or content, but if I'm using it for the purpose of imparting knowledge or teaching, it constitutes to fair use, and therefore the copyright is not applicable. Uh, I have tried and put all the places where I can. I've tried to put the original source of content, but in case if it's not available, uh, 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 the original copywriter content may contact me and I can add it to that. Anybody else may please not use this content unless you've obtained permission of the original copyright owner. And finally, this presentation is made on a best effort basis. Views expressed are my own and do not represent the views of ISACA Ahmedabad chapter or ISACA organization on the whole. With that, yeah. So about me, I will run it fast. Myths versus reality, and in a sense, conclusion. I think majority of people already know me, so I don't need to sort of say much about me, but I'll just try and keep it short. I've been in the IT field for about 3 decades. Experience in all areas of IT, infrastructure, security, networks, and so on. A lot of technical certifications and positions from starting from, as we all start with small, and then we reach all the way to the CXO level. Worked on all verticals in IT: banking, education, government, manufacturing, pharma, ITES, and PSUs also. So starting from GAIL, SAIL, NTPC, central government, state government, and so on. Worked on domains of data center, application, security, virtualization, and so on, risk audit, compliance, and projects of national significance. Uh, Mumbai, Delhi surveillance projects, consulting for state and central government, and so on. These are a small list of certifications. And to conclude, this is the slide I like the most. Seen it done wrong and done it right. Uh, we've all made mistakes in life. I am not oblivious to that. So I've done it wrong myself and then done it right, and been through a lot of pain, helping to spare others the pain by trying to impart whatever I have learned over a period of time. So the basics, uh, if you look at this, it's simple that, you know, we've not understood the concept of cybersecurity. So, you know, uh, majority of the times it so happens that people do not take cybersecurity or information security very seriously. Even today, I am not sure about the entire members of the team, but how many of you actually write your passwords in the same phone or the desktop, in an Excel or in a notepad, which is available on your computer itself? Majority of us. Now we have tools. We have tools for storing a lot of passwords. We have tools for encryption. We have tools like just simply even password protecting in Excel. But that one or the other way somehow is always missed, because of the inconvenience. So majority of the times, this is the area where we miss out on, and this is the area where people take advantage of. So the concept of cybersecurity is you're always on your toes. There is no place where, no time when you can say that, oh, you know what, let me put it here for the moment, then I'll change it and I'll put it in an Excel. Or maybe let me log in and save the password in the browser, I'll then remove it whenever I want to. All the browsers now have the facility of storing your credit card information and your address information and your username, password information, and everything, and people conveniently use it. These are areas which are the no man's land, where people can get in and get out. So four different areas of threat actors, I'm sure everybody knows. One of them is the cyber criminals that have been very active, especially post COVID, because a lot of work is being done over the net, working from home, encrypted tunnels, non-encrypted tunnels, missing out, firewall reconfigurations, and so on and so forth. You have insider threats, which has again increased in the COVID 2021, post COVID times, because the insiders or the people who used to come to office and work within the office environment now are working from home. So the data actually is accessible from home. The network is connected from home. People are connected from home. And that is an area where insider threats as an area becomes a little more critical now. Third is hacktivists. Nowadays, you see that somebody doesn't like a particular site or somebody doesn't like Tesla CEO. They will try to hack his account and give out free bitcoins and everything. And then nation states, of course, we have heard a lot in the news about China trying to get into some state or some country or some website, and Russia trying to do that, and Israel and NSO group and so on and so forth. So these are the primary areas of threat actors. Now, if the threat area is so huge, it does mean that we at every point in time, whether we are rich or poor or Indian or US or Russian or man or woman or whatever, the perception that people have that I don't have anything that needs protection is in itself an invitation, an open invitation to all. I'll give you a small example which transpired uh, just about 2 weeks ago. So I had a credit card, and for some reason that credit card got a transaction of 1500 rupees in about 5 minutes. Because I knew I hadn't made that transaction, I was just sitting outside, not doing anything. The card was not on me, so I knew the transaction wasn't done by me. So before I could even call up, I got a transaction reversal of the same 1500 rupees. So normally one would think, oh, somebody made a mistake and it's back. Fortunately and thankfully, I wasn't in a meeting, I was available. I picked up the phone and just canceled the card and asked them to send me a new card. 15 minutes or 30 minutes later, that's a HDFC card. Now, of all the credit card organizations, HDFC is one which gives you a call if there is any transaction beyond a certain limit. Immediately, if you make a 10,000 or 15,000 rupee transaction, you are dead sure you will get a call in 5 minutes that have you done this transaction. So I got a call that there were 35 transactions, but all transactions were blocked. So have you blocked your card, sir? I said, yes, I did about 10 minutes, 15 minutes ago. The point is, if I had taken that, oh, you know what, 1500 rupees gaya, now it is again back, it's okay. I don't mind. It's back, so I don't have to worry. But that particular transaction might have been done by the threat actors as a trial. Let's hit and see if this card is working. If it's working, reverse the money, then we'll have a list of transaction and we'll try and hit everything together. How many of you have cards which have a couple of lakhs of limit? You can, I mean, if you wish to, you can raise your hand in the Zoom thing. I think there's some option available where you can raise your hand if you wish to, right? So majority of all of us, all the credit card companies or the banks are very interested in giving you lakhs and lakhs of rupees of limits. But those limits now also has a facility where you can log into the bank and limit those limits. So for example, one of the cards that I have has a couple of lakhs worth of limit. What I simply do is I go log into the portal of the bank and put the transaction or per day limit to 20,000 or 10,000 rupees. Whenever I want to do a transaction, which is say 30,000, every bank has an app. I go into the app, I increase the limit, the transaction, the increase is done in microseconds, and then I swipe the card. This is once again, this is being careful, not that you're afraid all the time, but it is being careful. So I don't have anything that needs protection is a myth that we need to go out with. many companies which are smaller in nature, there are 5 computers, 7 computers, I don't need anything to protect. Why should I be worried about? There's nothing to protect. Why should I invest in a firewall? Why should I have an IT person? Why should I outsource my IT services, and so on and so forth? But if you look at the screen, it is like this, that really, no. There have been many chartered accountants who have been hit with ransomware, no backups available, and zero data. They not just lost their own data, they lost data of their customers. With today's facilities of having Dropboxes and OneDrives and Google Drives, where cloud is just a click away, and the cost is not so prohibitive, what prevents you from taking your and storing your data out there? So that is one more thing. If you look at the facts, almost 50% of smaller businesses have experienced a cyber attack, one form or the other. It could be, uh, 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 you know, smaller businesses like a chartered accountant or maybe a lawyer, or it could be small businesses which are, not very small, but maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 computers. But they have experienced the cyber attacks. Many have paid. Yes, I read a chat which says, how about usage of banks apps through mobiles like bank account, Paytm, etc.? Absolutely, very nice question, Narendra ji. You are absolutely right. Uh, Unfortunately, the the concept of free, uh, or the concept of low cost is also a problem. So majority of the phones that you have, uh, if they are an unprotected operating system or are manufactured operating systems, if you look at Android per se, Android is not just one operating system. You buy a Mi phone, you have 10 apps which are tracking you on a Mi phone. You have an Oppo phone, they will have their own apps which will keep tracking you or take all kinds of information and so on. Make sure that you install only known applications. It is exactly the way that you treat your PC, your office PC. Do you install every small utility that you find everywhere? No, you don't. You install something which is of absolute use to you. It is exactly the same case with a phone. If you want to go overboard in being secure about it, I'm not peddling, but there is nothing more secure than Apple products, especially the iPhone or the iPad and so on. But everybody cannot afford them, which means even if you are on a 6,000 rupee phone, does not make you insecure. What makes you insecure is being uh, careless about what you install on that. So if you find a great game, say a Candy Crush or something somewhere, you just pick it up and install it. Now, the moment you install it, you do not know the source of those apps. If you look at Telegram channels or some WhatsApp channels or some Signal channels, you have actual Android apps running around there. Somebody is actually uploading an Android app, somebody is downloading and installing it. We do not know if there is a Trojan there in that app. So because there is no validation in Google platform, even if I make an app, I can and I post it here in chat and add it to everybody, anybody can install it. So uh, make sure that we are clear of what we are installing on our phones. Our phones are our extended arms now, and extended keys to your banks, to your Paytms, to your UPIs, to your Razor Pays, to your all kinds of financial transactions and information, even banks apps. So your HDFC app is on that, your Axis app is on that, your Citibank is there. All kinds of apps, they all become vulnerable the moment you install just one app which is insecure or which has a Trojan built in. So does that sound fine to Narendra ji? So I'll be back on the cybersecurity alliance portrait. So more than 70% of attacks target small businesses. This is their research. It's not something that I'm saying. The reason, one of the key reasons is, once a small business is attacked, it does not have the wherewithal or the capability or the systems in place where they can bounce back. They do not have backups. They do not have, somebody in IT. They do not have somebody who understands IT. In all essence, there are many small organizations which are targeted, which have paid up ransomware ransoms. I know of a organization here in Ahmedabad which paid about 5 crores worth of ransom. It was not a small organization, but not too big either. So thinking that I'm a small company, I'm not going to be attacked, isn't going to be very important. Next comes is, what kind of passwords do you keep? So, for example, you have, this kind of a password where, the kid supplies his father with yet another computer password. How many of us actually have a password as PASSWORD 1234 or 123456 as your password, and so on and so forth? Many. At the same time, even if you feel that you have a complex password, does not guarantee that it is really complex enough. So that is and the downside is that you have maybe 100 passwords to take care of. So how do you think that you will be able to remember them? You won't. That is precisely the reason you have these kind of tools available where you can happily use, like one password and LastPass and so on and so forth. Those kind of systems will help you keep the complexity of password, at the same time also make sure that your passwords are protected. So uh, for example, you feel my password is long and secure. I'm not sure if everybody has gone to this website, and there are a couple of others like these which have a database of uh, just a moment, Purvi, which has a database of all the passwords that have been leaked. So if you think P at SSWORD at 123 is a pretty complex password, but then it's not. It's already leaked, and these kind of passwords already exist. So yeah. Okay. A question from Purvi Parikh. Is it safe to click unsubscribe of a recurring or unwanted email which bombard one's mail ID? So there are two ways to look at this. Um, what you can do is you can copy that link. See, some of these things sound complex to non-IT people or people who are not very conversant with IT, but yet you can click on the unsubscribe link, copy the link, and open it in a incognito mode of a browser. If you feel that there is something fishy about it, if it is asking you for a username or a password or something, then do not. If it does not, all you can do is, and very simply do, is mark it as spam. Your Outlook has the capability, if you're using Outlook, Thunderbird has the capability if you have Thunderbird, and your source mail also has the capability that once you mark that particular domain as spam, the mails will never reach out in your inbox. So that way you while the mail does reach you, it won't remain an irritant to you, and still you will not be have to click on the unsubscribe and maybe reach out somewhere. But tentatively, unsubscribe links I have seen are not very dangerous, but you have to be very careful. It's a every time being careful, right? So this is also a joke that uh, you know somebody from customer support writes, "Is my password safe from Russian hackers?" And the response from the security is "Da," which means somebody Russian has already taken over their security. Anyway, uh, the next is estimatedly, there have been more than 11 billion accounts that have been hacked. So if you look at all of the largest breaches across history, they're all in terms of millions and millions and millions of users. So that makes close to 11 billion, accounts which have been breached, which is actually more than 1.5 times the population of the world, if I'm not mistaken. So the problem with this is that every single content that you have ever given to any site is one way or the other has actually reached the outside domain, which means from next time onwards, whenever any site asks for your information, be very careful before you give it off. There are also tools where you can have separate email IDs. For example, there are websites which would want you to subscribe before they give you some information or some download or some PDF. The easiest way is have a secondary account, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or whatever, and keep it there. There are also services available which protect you from this by having a in between username, in between email ID. So for example, my ID could be Manish at yahoo.com. It'll give me a Manish1397 at yahoo.com. So whenever I want to stop subscribing to that particular content, all I do is remove that ID, and I will not get any more information from there, or no more mails cluttering my mailbox. So in a sense, as far as possible, if you have to be careful at every single point, and there is nothing called being too careful. So I mean, if you look at the biggest hacks, they have been done by the smallest of mistakes. If you look at larger hacks, many of them only one person. I am not sure, but if just look up your Google sometime later and just say the Merck hack, Maerk. That's the company. That's the Finnish company of shipping. You must have seen containers with Merck name on it. They lost close to $20 billion. Just one small mistake. Somebody clicked one link in a remote corner of the world, somewhere in Norway or Czechoslovakia or something, and their entire world network came down to an extent that there were 80 kilometers of queues in New York because the shipping was shut down, and therefore the trucks lined up to about 20, 30, 40, 80 kilometers. The point is, every time you have to be careful. It isn't that, this, I'm in my office, I need not be careful. So when you look at being careful, how many of you actually patch and update all your systems? Not many, not all. In fact, because of Windows patching becoming a little too cumbersome, slow, huge, people have stopped. They block the updates, they block the patches, and so on and so forth. And once that happens, once again, it's that middle ground that the hackers play with. If you look at solar winds or Kaseya attacks, nowadays the threat actors have gone towards hacking a service provider rather than hacking a single user. So if I hack Solar Winds has got 1,95,000 customers across the world. I will have access to all 195. Similarly, Kaseya is also some sort of a servicing system. So they attacked it. In short, if you are, and that does not stop at Windows, it goes to Mac, it goes to your phones, it goes to your tablets, it everywhere, wherever there is an update. Make sure that you end up updating, because it's not for nothing that the provider has given that update. At the same time, be a little careful as far as Windows is concerned. uh, I may sound like a Windows basher, but no, it's not the case. There have been cases where Windows updates have ended up killing people's systems, or deleting my documents folders, or maybe so on. So wait for a couple of days if possible, or if you feel uncomfortable. But at the same time, it has to go. Any company which has 5, 10, 15 PCs, I'm sure they can back up one PC and start update of that particular PC. If that update goes through well, then you can think of going through with other updates. Yes, Kaushal Trivedi has a question. Sir, would the updates be tested as well, as some updates have failed system? Absolutely. I hope I answered your question, that you can test it within a test environment, or maybe have a small system. You have a small office, you have 5 7 computers, one of them is at reception maybe, and that may not be very important. You just take the backup of that computer, run your update there. If it works fine, then you can always start updating the next less important system. That is for smaller ones. For larger organizations, there are already test environments available. They have test setups, test zones where they copy everything. I mean, test everything, and then it goes to production. Okay, there's a question which says, especially for bank accounts, the controls which are used: hold less credit cards, max 3, update credit controls, and follow to bin systems for larger and smaller transactions. However, in digital world, one may amend bank accounts through clone of the phone numbers. Yes, you are right. Uh, the possibility of cloning of phone numbers is reducing by the day. Yes, it is still feasible. It is still there. It is still out there. But the possibilities have reduced because a lot of them. Just a moment, please. હાજી સર. હા, હું એ જ કહી રહ્યો છું, એનો જ જવાબ આપી રહ્યો છું, નીતિનભાઈ. Yeah, Nitinbhai was saying chat માં questions છે. Okay, so yes, holding more number of credit cards uh, uh, isn't a problem as long as you can manage to control them. Yes, you put credit controls from your apps and bank accounts and so on, or your mobile apps, and um, one may amend bank accounts through clone. So yes, I was saying the phone cloning is reducing by the day. One of the reasons is that the government is tightening the service providers. So service providers who give a clone in terms of a SIM clone, it would become difficult. Second is, if somebody gets physical access of your phone to clone your SIM, I mean, that guy is one determined guy, where he takes access of your phone, takes a copy of your SIM, maybe puts it there, gives your phone back, and you don't know. Normally, phone has become an extension of ourselves now. Uh, you may, I mean, there could be a case where somebody forgot to put on his shoes, but he would never forget to take the phone. It has become so ubiquitous now that every single person always carries his phone around. So the possibility of somebody doing it from physical phone cloning would be a little difficult, but through service providers is what used to happen earlier. So that your existing SIM would shut down for a couple of hours, and within those hours, that person would end up, emptying your accounts. Now, there, unless there is an insider, it becomes difficult. So let's look at the possibility. Somebody takes your username password, somebody clones your phone, then within that time frame, he goes there, creates a beneficiary. Even after creating a beneficiary, good banks allow the beneficiary to be enabled only after 30 minutes. Even after that 30 minutes, you can only transfer some predetermined amount, which is 25 or 30,000 or 50,000 for that first day. You can only transfer beyond 1 lakh for the second day, and then after the third day. So the possibility of phone cloning and taking away the money via phone cloning is reducing. It is not non-existent, it is reducing. There again, if you are a person who keeps getting phones all the time, and you suddenly stop getting a phone call, I think it might ring a bell. This happened with one of my friends. He receives maybe a couple of thousand calls a day, I believe. I mean, I'm of course joking, but many calls a day. For that particular day, he did not receive a call for 1.5 hour. He commented and then he called up Vodafone. That why is that so? Then somebody said that yes, your a new SIM has been issued. Your earlier one was lost. He said, no, I haven't. You are requested to shut down the SIM again. I'm on my way to your office. So this happens, but that was a couple of years ago, maybe 5 years ago. Since in the recent times, I haven't heard much about it. All right, back to the presentation. So as we were coming back, A was of course patching, and second is whether you ran a VAPT. Now, this may not be possible for people working on 2, 3, 5 systems or 10 systems in an organization. But there are free tools available. There are free services also available, which could help you do this. There are free services available online, which can check your vulnerability of your website, or check for something going on within your website. See if an SSL is perfect. See if it is implemented properly, and so on. So normally these are areas which you need to do it, and when somebody says, oh, you know what, we did a VAPT, we got our VAPT done for our website. When? 2 years ago, 1 year ago. And after that, did you make any changes to the website? That happens every day. So whenever you change one line of code, in ideal case scenarios, your VAPT has to be done again. Because what if the new code added some new vulnerability? So considering that, majority of the people, they think VAPT is a process that needs to be done because किसी ने बोला है करने का, or maybe there's a compliance, SEBI ने बोला है or RBI ने बोला है, and so on. But that's not the case. You have to do it on an ongoing basis. Unless you make security as second nature, you will only miss out once. But that once will be costing you crores. May it be in terms of data, may it be in terms of ransom, may it be in terms of any other form. But that's just one. We take insurances, don't we? Everyone takes insurances. Now, you have mediclaims, and you have your term plans, and you have your endowment plans, and you have all of this. Why do we take it? We take it because we are preventing against some risk. We are trying to prevent against the risk of maybe death. We are trying to prevent the risk of maybe ailment or medical. In that case, why are we never lax? This is exactly the same thing that happens. Deepak ji has written in his chat, whatever is free is actually risky. Yes, you have to do due diligence, Deepak ji. Whatever is free is risky, agreed. But at the same time, a little bit of due diligence is what you will do anyways. You go to Kakaria, which was free earlier, now it is paid. But when it was free, you already knew that if you go there, there'll be a lot of people because it is free. There'll be a lot of pickpockets because it is free. There'll be a lot of maybe some sort of rowdy behavior because there'll be 20 people who will come in a group and want to mess with you. So risk, yes. Free and risky, yes. But doing a due diligence is what is important. And if you look at majority of technologies that have changed the world, majority or many of them started with free. Linux is free. Mail servers were free. Solaris in original Sun systems was not free, but eventually it was free. BSD was free from the beginning. Virus, your AVG, I've been using it since 2006, free edition. So yes, it is risky, but there are other antiviruses also which are free. Should I install them? No, I have to do a due diligence. So that is how it works. Okay. We have a full set of antivirus, anti-malware, anti-ransomware, and so on. So I'm very protected. There is no issue there. If that be the case, every large organization which have been hit by ransomware, you look at millions and millions of dollars, billions of dollars worth of organizations having tens of thousands of PCs. I'm sure they all had all of these tools, but being a little careful is what it takes. I will also show you that with all of these things, it is just one click which which puts the entire organization at risk. Just one click on a PDF which says we have sent you a lottery winning of $120,000, and that's all. Sawa lakh dollar dekh ke you double click on that PDF, and there you go. So yes, those things work. But to what extent? Because the ransomware systems are also constantly upgrading, updating. It's a battle between good and evil. And as we all know historically, initially evil always triumphs. then then the good takes over or maybe comes back. Even in Hindi movie, your bad guy always beats up the good guy first. Then the good guy will come and do whatever he wants to. But so we are protected using firewall and perimeter security. Yes, but look at the worst vulnerability. As I just said, you've written down your password in a memo pad just besides your computer. There you go. All your best securities is out, right? And as we said earlier, that now every individual is maybe looking at 100, 200 passwords management. How will they use it? How will they remember it? So somebody like this guy who is not very techno savvy will keep such a thing. And that is where, it's that one hole, a large ship, but just one rat or one mouse, and it can bring it down. So yeah, in fact, if you my last pass, because I also work with many customers and I want their environment to be safe. My last pass contains close to 1200 entries. It's 1100 to 1200 entries of all the passwords that I have along of all my customers. I manage many of the Amazon accounts of customers, cloud accounts of customers, all of them. So all we need to do is be a little careful. Now, password managers like LastPass or OnePassword or there are two or three more. Nord passwords, then you have VPN unlimited passwords, and so on and so forth. Those passwords tools are something that can be used. One more thing. Uh, yeah. So that is also one more. Deepak ji has asked how to remove email address given to various websites in Google Chrome. I think all you need to do is just Google for how to remove history from Google Chrome, and you will get all the options where you can unsave or delete all the saved passwords and contents and everything. You can also press Control H, and you will get left side, you will say clear history. In that you have to say of all time, clear history of all time, not last 2 hours or 4 hours or so on. So I hope that's clear, Deepak ji. Anand ji, yes, SROs, I mean, there are many password managers now. Make sure, once again, as somebody said, something free is actually risky, right? So just do your due diligence before looking at a password manager, um, because it is important that the password manager does not uh, take data back to its cloud. To explain it a little further, whenever I use a password manager, the content is actually encrypted on my PC. It is encrypted and stored on my PC. That is why a good password manager will never have a password recovery option. I hope everybody understands. The moment the password manager is able to recover my password, it means that it has that password stored someplace else where it is a risk. So majority of good password managers say that you either enable multi-factor authentication, or there are some OTP or one-time password creation facilities which you can create and store someplace. Only with that you can recover the password, because the password management company does not have your password. Neither does it have your data. Everything is encrypted here. Only the encrypted content is uploaded on the cloud. That is how you can use the same password manager on your mobiles or laptops and home PC and office PC all at the same time. You might feel that if I'm entering a password here, how do I see it on my mobile? Which means that the company is actually uploading my passwords to their own system. That is not the case. It will only work locally. It will only encrypt locally. So the content going to a LastPass or a one password or SROs or anybody will be encrypted. In fact, if LastPass was hacked, it will never be able to, nobody will ever be able to get any data from it, because it is only encrypted content. Okay, Narendra ji is asking how to encrypt password not only with PC as well as Android phone. Where in Android you may please suggest paid and free apps. You can use, uh, as I said, all of these password utilities. Narendra ji has a facility of working with PC, Android, iPhone, and every place. So you can use, as Shinoy ji suggested, SROs. I do not know of that, so do your due diligence. I work with three different passwords managers. One of them is KeepPass. It is a local system software, so I use it locally. I use LastPass, I use One Password, and I use NordPass. These are the four password managers I use. All of them, I think LastPass also has a free version. I use all paid version, but all of these have got free versions also, which has some facilities, which has the same facilities. Paid versions have some additional facilities, which I need. That is why I use it. But otherwise, you can use any of these: One Password, LastPass, NordPass. These are three I use. So that is what I'm suggesting. All right. So as you can see from this, that my password is again, whenever I forget, the computer messages me, try again. And the same is here as we discussed. So we have all kinds of equipment on the left where you have your firewalls and encryption and antivirus and this, that. And on this corner, we have Dave, which is in essence, human error. So human error is also something that needs to be taken care of. Put in systems or processes in place where errors can be reduced. They cannot be eliminated. We are humans. To err is human. But at the same time, you also can have the facility of, trying to put in processes whereby the errors can be reduced. So that, plus, free is always great, for us. So we have a very long password for Wi-Fi. If yes, what exactly are you using? If you have WEP and you have a 25 character password, doesn't make sense, because it is already a broken protocol. But if you look at, forget all of this. Everybody has an Airtel connection at home. Everybody has a GTPL connection at home. Somebody has a Geo connection at home. Has anybody taken the pain to change the Wi-Fi password from the password that that guy gave in? No, nobody has done that. So because of that, your Reliance guy, Geo guy, or your Airtel guy, or your BSNL guy, they always keep one simple thing: password, or 123456789. These are the regular passwords that they keep. I have tried this multiple times. I go to any building, I just look at the Wi-Fi and try two or three passwords, and it works. 99% of the time it works. Now, you may say that I don't know how to change the password. Great, I understand. Not everybody is technical. But at the same time, when that guy came to install it, all you could have done is put a 00 and my mobile number as the password. That itself is good enough. Put a 99 and my mobile number as a password. Put my mobile number in reverse as a password. That is a little pain that you are taking. As against that, you are keeping your entire environment open. And mind you, it is not that somebody is going to just come and use your internet. The moment I'm on your Wi-Fi, I can see all your PCs connected there. So there could be somebody actually traveling in a lift in your building and taking away your content. So there you are. So free Wi-Fi, as you can see the cartoon, the signal is weak. It's actually a shark and it's just alluring you with free Wi-Fi. Nevertheless, so is phishing a real threat? Um, I'm sure everybody has heard about phishing. Let me give you an example which happened just 48 hours ago with one of my customers. So the customer that I'm talking about is a director in an organization. His email address is director@organization.com. A couple of days back, somebody hacked through their email, or maybe their email SPF and DMARC was not configured properly. His two or three of his CXOs, which means chief financial or chief technology or chief security officer or whoever, their top echelon received a mail from him which said from the directors at organization.com instead of director. They received a mail that please buy 50,000 rupees worth of Amazon vouchers and mail it back to me. We have to give gifts and everything to our lower staff. So make sure you buy 2,000 or 5,000 rupees worth of vouchers. So for 50,000, you buy 10 in short. Interestingly, these guys are big guys, so 50,000 may not be a very big amount for them. They bought, copied, pasted all the coupon codes and responded to directors instead of director at organization.com 48 hours ago. So they thought that phishing, you know what, I'm very careful, I know. I'll give you a report of an organization. I have removed the name of the organization wherever it was, but we did a campaign where we sent in phishing mails from their own website, I mean, from their own mail server, to make sure how well they see the actual content, they read the content, and so on. We also segregated them into larger organizations, I mean, parts. So we could see that number of linked, submitted, email, all of these were out of the 400 mails, about 200 plus mails were responded to, and many of them even submitted the data. So feeling that our 400 or 500 people organization, we take security classes every day, we do this, we do that, we have trainings and so on, does not guarantee you how well the phishing is executed. We executed phishing by giving email from the income tax department. So the department says that you have your refund pending. Please enter your PAN number here and the password on the income tax ID here, and so on and so forth. And everybody complied. So about 12 to 15 people complied. They actually entered data. Even while knowing that it is an email from outside, they did not check the email ID and they clicked. So these are areas which we feel that no, I'm very careful. I know what phishing is. But no, you send a mail from a very legitimate sounding, we can send an email from GST that your GST is pending and so on and so forth. Please look at your. So everybody has a different lure. To a finance guy, GST is important. To an individual, his income tax return is important, or his refund is important. To somebody else who is a gamer, maybe a free version of XYZ game from Microsoft is important. But this is the name of the game. We have to make sure that we are careful all the time. So security is everyone's responsibility. So as this gentleman says, he sent his bank detail and SSN and everything, but I put private financial info, so it should be safe. The key word here is IT security in our part of the world is done by IT. It is not the correct way. So if you look at IT and cybersecurity, these are the differences. The IT takes care of hardware, software, and network and everything. Cybersecurity takes care of protecting the data and assets. Similarly, it's hardware, software, technology is what is IT's responsibility. But for systems, process, and risk posed to end users is cybersecurity. Putting controls in place is what IT does, but monitoring controls to ensure that it is working as designed is what is the cybersecurity. In short, all of these things end up being your IT wala is the guy who is doing the cybersecurity for you. Or a firewall dekh le. Now that guy understands network, he understands operating systems, he understands Windows and so on. Does he understand what are the new threats, whether port 775 needs to be shut down or 3959 or whatever? He does not. He is not there to secure it. As you see the last one, his mentality is fix it. The cybersecurity guy's mentality is secure it. Not all organizations can afford a cybersecurity guy in-house. Even if they want to keep it, that guy will run away because he will not have enough to do. So you can outsource it to organizations. There could be smaller organizations which you can outsource. You are a chartered accountant, maybe a lawyer, maybe a small business house. All you can do is ask someone to come here every 15 days or a month, outsource that part, pay him some X amount, and make sure these 5 things are taken care of. So that is where it is. Okay, a question is there any check in creation of website with the same name and different domains? No, you have to be careful all the time. And okay, with that, let me give you another example. Uh, One of my customers, they do a lot of outsourcing work. So they have their website that these are the kinds of work we do, and these are the kinds of outsourcing work we do. It could mean scanning some content, it could be design, development, data entry, and so on. So there were some scamsters who started sending WhatsApp in the name of this company and said, we can give you some XYZ graphic designing work on a monthly basis, and every day you have to do 2 graphics, and we will pay you so much. But for getting enrolled, you have to pay 2,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees or whatever. A standard clickbait or call bait. So what happens is those poor guys who get this kind of a message on a WhatsApp or a Telegram or this, that, they will call up, "Hey, sir, bolo." So they will actually give them the real website. Ashok ji, I mean, trying to answer your question and also elaborate on that. They will give your original website name. It is www.microsoft.com. I work for Microsoft, and we will be giving you these kind of design work and so on. But for getting enrollment and getting your KYC done and all that, we will need 2,000 rupees. So you pay that 2,000. Now I'm out. I took that 2,000. I shut down my phone, and those poor guys end up calling Microsoft on their helpline number. And these guys get abused. How do you control that? The organization went to the police. The police says, sir, unless the one of the original complainant puts a complaint, how is it that we are going to do anything? So this, you're talking about just a creation of a website. These guys are actually doing business on your real website, duping individuals, cheating them of money, and these guys are getting abused. The poor receptionist at that company is getting abused. अरे तुम सब चोर हो, पैसा ले गए मेरा, ये किया वो किया. What do? You went to the police. Police says no, I can't do anything unless somebody who has cheated all the money. Now for 2,000 rupees, nobody is going to be willing to go to the police. So the scamsters are also, great, that they also are taking only 2, 3, 5,000 rupees. So that guy will say 5,000 balega hai, who will go to police station? So these are new and great things that people keep on doing. So creation of website, you will have to keep a watch out for that. Otherwise, there is no way to do so. So I have systems, I have firewalls, I have logs, I have syslog server. I will immediately know as soon as I will get infected or compromised. Doesn't happen. Once you are infected, you're gone. By the time you realize there is the damage is already too much. Many times this is now happening day in and day out, as I said earlier. That I mean, the guy says, what's the harm in mailing some files to myself? Now, you larger organizations have DLPs in place. DLP is data leak prevention. So if I send my own Excel file or a Word file to my email ID, they will automatically flag it. That no, why are you sending it? But not all organizations would have it. But you feel, Array, I'm working at home, so I will do it. But what if somebody takes away data from your home, if your house is robbed or so on? Your office data gets lost. Nevertheless, in today's environment, this does not apply because everybody is working from home. And then privacy. So privacy is also one area where we happily say accept all cookies. Whenever you go to a website, you automatically say, accept all cookies and so on, but that's not there. So at that cost, you are giving away your content. Where did you go? How did you go? What did you purchase? What did you buy? What did you view? How many times did you go to a particular website? And so on. So privacy is one area which is, yes, Nitin bhai?
Oh yeah, continue. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. No, I thought you were saying something. Okay. So, and again, as you see, privacy is like, uh, you have to accept or you can't use the website. So you agree, we store cookies, we store this, we do that, we do this. All you do is accept. But it's always good to make sure that we are not being able to read the 160 pages. But at least whenever a website says check for cookies, you can go in and say only accept mandatory cookies. Do not accept all cookies. It is easier. So you end up, taking accept all. So yes, I can achieve complete security. Think again, you cannot. So you look at prevention, monitoring, data security, application security, endpoint, network, perimeter, and then you go out in the open. And there are 200 different areas, social engineering, and so on, which is not even covered. This is just technology. So the ability or the fallacy of thinking I will have complete security. No, a 11-year-old hacked into NASA. An 18-year-old or a 20-year-old did some 500 million worth of algo trading, or what do you say, some kind of trading in the New York Stock Exchange, sitting in a basement in his mom's house. So this is, it isn't that you will achieve panacea. There is no silver bullet where you say कि मैं ये लगा दिया सब sort हो गया. It does not happen that way. So in essence, you have to constantly be on your toes. Yeah, it's the myth and the truth that you see every Matrix hero and Hindi hero and somebody shooting two guns at the same time, but it's not possible. So it's the same way. Now, one more fallacy is compliance. So most of the time people think compliance, I'm compliant, I'm 27,001 compliant, I'm 9,001 compliant, I'm RBI, SEBI, XYZ compliant. No, that is not security. Compliance is doing or working against a particular set of rules set out by that particular organization. It could be 27,000, it could be SEBI, it could be RBI, but it's a rule set which is given out by that does not ensure full security, because all rules are not all encompassing. So the way to reach there is there are many ways to reach complete security, if not complete, a majority one. Yes, Narendra ji has some small info. Someone has created a Facebook, a fake profile, and seek money. However, upon knowing this info, immediately updated in our Facebook profile and lodged a complaint with a police station and changed settings of Facebook view to all, just saved other way. I agree, Narendra ji, but that was Facebook. Let's assume if I start 10 different domains in your organization's name, each one in a different country. Problem with law is it cannot travel borders very easily. So yes, you're right. Even police does not know how to work, and even people do not know how to go and talk to Facebook and say that this is a fake profile, because Facebook will not listen to everybody. There needs to be a process. The process says Facebook or Google or anybody will only hear if you have a complaint, written complaint, and an acceptance of the police station with a some district magistrate's order or something. So yes, there is a problem of law all the time. I open a domain in your company's name in Iceland, which I can do. I open it with crypto, because now crypto is accepted in Iceland hosting services or Poland hosting services or many of the EU nations. How is anybody going to go and stop them? You go to the police, you stop that. 15 days later, I will set up another shop in Iceland, and 15 days later, you stop that. I will start another. For me, the cost is $100. For you to shut down that operation is maybe $1,000 or $2,000 per operation. So to a determined guy, you will end up losing 50,000 every month by going to the police. But yes, the policies and processes are also very terse in our country. So yes, I'm compliance is not security. As we said, there are many ways to go there. You can go with ISO 27000. You can go with NIST framework. You can go with a continuous learning and communication framework, or you can have a complete environmental and all those kind of frameworks. Everything has its set of processes which we need to sort of implement. But in total, it looks like this. If you remember, all of you, or maybe some, have worked on CMM. This is some sort of an SMM. CMM was, I don't recollect, maturity model, whilst SMM is security maturity model. So your original phase is zero, blissful ignorance. I don't know. साहब के कंप्यूटर में सब चलना चाहिए. If you look at our environment in our country, CEO के कंप्यूटर में कुछ ब्लॉक नहीं होता है. Why is that? Or CXO or CTO, everything firewall में blockage is only at the lower level. ऊपर के level में no blockage. So it is autocratic. So that is where it is isolated, lack of awareness. Then you can go to climb up levels in terms of awareness, where you have audits, or you have some top management pressure, put in policies. Then you have a corrective phase where you deploy your correction, right? And put in programs and processes and so on. And then you have eventually level 4 and 5, which is operational excellence, where it is constantly monitored and managed. Yeah, capability maturity model. Thank you, Anandji. I missed it at that time. So yeah, so this is where you can travel to. In short, if I started with this statement, if I remember, that there's a very fine line between security and paranoia. So somebody might feel, I'm always being told by many of my friends that you are always, as if somebody is out there to loot you. I said, no, it's not the case. I'm being careful. being careful and being afraid is very different. I am being careful. As an example, how many of you have given out your Aadhaar card even once? I haven't even once till date, except for the PAN, because that was a mandate. And today, every single Tom, Dick and Harry, पान के गल्ले पे गया पान खाने तो भी आधार कार्ड दो. अरे, what is this here? So you have to be secure to make sure your content or data is secure. You have to fight. I have fought with banks. I have fought with universities. I have fought with a university where my daughter was going to get admission. Big university. I'm not naming names. But that university said, no, Aadhaar chahiye. I said, no, I don't want your admission. So then everything came crashing. Nahi, sir, ye wo. I said, Supreme Court has already told you want me to inform your name to Supreme Court. तब जाके कुछ ठीक होता है. But you have to stand up and fight. My bank, every single thing, demat account खुलाना है, ये दो KYC करना है, आधार. I said, why do you need आधार यार? मैं निराधार हूं, नहीं है मेरे पास आधार, तो क्या मैं बैंक अकाउंट नहीं खोल सकता? But you have to stand up and take that call. Nevertheless, so as I said, it's not that you are being afraid, it's you're being careful. So yeah, with that, yeah, once again, as I said, being too careful. So that's our CIO. He's encrypted for security purposes. With that, I think, yeah, I.
Thank you very much, Manish.
Thank you all.
Any question answered? I would unmute everyone. Before unmuting you, those who want CP awards for the attendance of seminar, they should WhatsApp me or email me the details, name and all these things, so that I can credit the CP awards. Okay. Uh, uh, Over to I'm asking everybody to unmute themselves, and you can unmute yourself and call on. You can unmute and talk now. With this, you want to say something, Naresh?
No, I think you you unmuted both your things, so there was some sort of a whistle there. Yeah, please. Yes, anybody, any questions? Yeah, thank you, Samir ji. Yes, Narendra ji, आपने क्या
Anybody
लिखा
wants
है?
to say
I
something?
am not able to understand.
Yes, sir. My name is Narendra Kumar. I'm calling from Hyderabad. And,
Oh, excellent.
thankful to you. And whereas I got a message a couple of hours ago from through LinkedIn, get you. I would like to tell you one thing, sir. Now, because your presentation is very good, I'm enjoying a lot.
Thank you.
And one more thing, in here in Telangana, surprisingly, I would like to tell you one because the State Department issued the notice through bulk showcase notices through because some third-party vendor.
Mm-hmm.
And that because interestingly, because where we challenged it, because you cannot, because initially it was issued in the month of somewhere in the February 2021.
Okay.
Many people has been challenged that now department issued because whatever the data has been provided, because third party generation data and everything through department portal itself they're given now.
Yes. Yeah, I know sharing of data, that is a big problem, especially in government websites, because government websites are typically handled by vendors. So you have vendors. Now vendors have engineers who are at the lower rung. So whoever.
I would like to tell you one thing.
Yeah.
In the given case, and whereas they are asking us to file the reply through because that third party portal, because link only. IITH scrutiny like that.
Okay.
So I challenge the department because my data is highly confidential. Okay, and whereas you are because you are collecting the data and whereas input all the things and everything through because by sharing my details, where it has my Aadhaar card, my PAN card, my email ID, my address, blah 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 blah.
Everything, yes, absolutely.
So because I'm not going to give a reply through, because whatever the portal, what the system generated format you have provided, I will not, because it's going to third party portal where it is not held by the central government or state government.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Like that, I put it because I'm going to take, in case if they issue a notice and everything, I'm going to evidence it. Just I'm giving information to you because it is Ahmedabad. I think many states, because using the third party portal now, clear tax as well as one more thing, tally, because we have data also already,
Absolutely.
because I'm worrying about that, where we are going for that.
So if you
You're
look at
absolutely right.
every organization wants to take whatever data. I challenged one question while I was filling up a form. They said, "Acha, aapka ye," it was a small organization. I needed some particular thing. There they asked me to fill in a form. The form had all the details like what is your annual income and whether you are salaried and do you own a four-wheeler. I said, why do you want all of this information? I don't want to give that information. He said, no, then I can't give you service. I said, no problem, shut it down. But there has to be somebody who says, no, I'm not interested. Otherwise, everybody will want to, you need something, theek hai, de do. Anyway, nevertheless, thank you, Narendraji.
Sir, I
You're
enjoyed
right.
your
You should not give.
presentation and thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you, Ahmedabad branch ICI.
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Once again, anybody wants the CPA awards, they should mail me nitinampathak@gmail.com. I'll see that your data is uploaded in CPA portal. And we are going to have a next Friday session by Dr. Kushru. We are continually taking this program. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. See you once again, everyone. We are living. Join every week. There is a seminar. Come through the blog. We will give you the link. Once again, email me so that I can enroll you again.
Manish bhai, thank you very much. Wonderful
Thank you,
session.
Anand sir. Thank you.
Wonderful session.
Thank you.
Anand, thanks for coming.
सबका नींद एक बार तो सबका नींद उड़ा दिया।
नहीं नहीं, it's a true thing. It's true यार.
तो सही बात हमेशा नींद उड़ा देता है.
But it gives you a long-term peace, I tell you.
Yeah, I know.
Chalo, everyone. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Great,
Thank you.
great. Chalo,
Thank
thanks.
you. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.